How you doing, strength and mobility team? Court here. Today we're focusing on goal setting. All right, we did programming yesterday. Today is goals. What we're going to use for goal setting, it's going to be a crash course, right? And we're going to use SMART goals. If you've never used the SMART goals before, it's not very hard, right? And I'll walk you through it. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. All right. So the important parts of that is the specificity and the time. Right? We need to have a focus on our goal. Our goal is what sets up our motivation and what helps us stay consistent and track what we're doing, right? So the specificity, the specific, right? We need to be specific about what our goal is. Do we want to lose weight? Do we want to gain weight? Are we trying to recover from an injury, right? What is the goal? What is your goal? What's your personal health goal that you're working on, right? We want to make it as specific as possible. Next, we get into measurable. How do we measure our progress, right? So we can measure our progress a number of ways depending on what the goal is. If it's a strength goal, we can do strength tests. If it's a body fat percentage goal, we can do a body fat percent test, right? There's a whole bunch of ways to measure. We can use measuring tape to measure the size of your body, right? So that's the next step, right? We want to have a way to measure our progress, right? Then attainable. Is that goal attainable, right? You don't want to set a goal too high and you can't achieve it, because then you lose that motivation and you may not stay consistent anymore. So we want to set that goal where it's high enough where it's going to be a stretch to achieve it, but we can still achieve it, right? And that's where it becomes relevant. Is your goal relevant to you? If it's not relevant to you, then the attainable part's not even going to matter. So we need to make sure that our why are we doing it? Is it relevant to us, right? Is it for health reasons, right? Whatever it is for you, you need to make it relevant. And then time is super important, right? Because a goal without time is just a dream, right? We also want to have our time set up where it's not too far in the future, right? It's hard to see 5 years from now. If I want a big house or a house in 5 years, right? I can kind of guess what the house can look like and stuff like that and set it up visually, right? But I don't know how to get there. So I have to work backwards and go a 4-year goal, 3-year goal, 2-year goal, 1-year goal, and create that roadmap to get to that 5-year goal. And once we get down to that 1-year goal, right, now you do a 90-day run. You work in 3-month increments, right? Because it's easier to see 3 months away than it is 5 years away. And if we can do a 3-month run and work on our goals that way, then it becomes more attainable and more achievable. And then we don't get burnt out on our goals, and we don't get burnt out on ourselves, and we don't lose that motivation, and we don't lose that consistency. So that's where time is really important, right? So we got to make sure that we have time. Now, the way that we can set up time that helps is thinking of something in the future that's 3 months away from now. So that's about August time right now. So August, September, got Memorial Day weekend coming up, right? Vacations, all that kind of stuff. So you can use that as the goal for your time frame, right? Say Memorial Day weekend, I want to be this on Memorial Day weekend. And so that's the next step, right? How do we write that goal? Once you come up with these 5 things, now you have to write it out. And you always want to write your goal out as it's already been achieved, as you've already accomplished it, right? So what that would look like is, let's say I want to lose 10 pounds. So I have lost 10 pounds on September 1st, 2020, and I feel amazing, light, and healthy, right? And you want to make sure that you attach an emotion, because the emotion is that buy-in. That emotion that you have right now, you're not going to have it all the time. That's that motivation to keep you working on these goals. And that's why we do goals, is to keep that motivation, to keep that consistency, to keep that roadmap, right? It does all these little things to build a bigger map, a big road that we can see, and we can adjust and course correct as we go, right? That's how the space shuttle gets to the moon. It's course correcting all the time. It's not a straight line, right? But we're trying to make it as straight as possible. Success is never a straight line, but that's what we set goals for. So I hope that helps. Little crash course. If you guys got questions, feel free to DM us. The programming one was done yesterday. This is the goal setting. Tomorrow we'll have some workouts for you. Hope everything's going good and everybody's staying safe.